So I wanted to again show you the difference between 38 millimeters, 42 millimeters and 45 millimeters. And if you are in the the watch hobby, you're a watch enthusiast, case size has been a real thing for a little while. And we've all been wondering, what is the best size? We know that the trend a few years ago was to have a larger watch, and these days I'm not sure which is the best size anymore. And of course, you can say it's all down to preference and wearability. But in other videos, I've explained that wearing watches these days is perhaps an ornamental function, although I do use especially my G-Shocks for cooking. But watches today, I suppose, could be considered more of a something that matches your outfit. So the size of it and the practicality of it, is a real thing. Now, this is so the main reason for these watches today is the fact that they're in three distinct sizes. Now, on camera, I suppose you can see that the difference doesn't appear that much. Although some people are going to say yes, it does. I don't know if you can see there. The 45 millimeter is definitely much bigger than the 38. So if I put these two together, you can see a real difference there. And if I pull them up, there you go. You can start to see the visible difference there. So remember, that's 38 millimeters. This is 45 millimeters. Now the one in the middle is the 42. And so if I pull up the 42 and the 38, you can see that there's a very noticeable difference there. And then if I just pull up the 42 and the 45, I suppose the differential once again is the same step up. Now, it really does boil down to preference. So if I put this around my wrist here, this is 38 millimeters. Now my wrist, believe it or not, I think is around 7 inch. So that is a 38 millimeter on a 7 inch wrist. Now that looks absolutely fine. I love the presence of it, actually. I think the height of it and the dome crystal is absolutely fine. I particularly like this rubber bracelet that it's on, but I think that's absolutely fine. So that's 38 millimeters. Then if I go to the 42 millimeter, and I shall do the same. I know the colors are different here, but you can see once again, that has a noticeable difference. Now, what's good about these rubber straps is that I'm able to, put it on the wrist close up, and it looks pretty cool. And I love the contrasting orange minute hand and the teal dial and bezel there with this orange strap. It looks so good. Anyway, that's the 42 millimeter. Now, if I jump to 45 millimeters, let's take a look. Now, you are going to notice, that is looking much bigger. Obviously, I can see that. You can probably see that also. But if I've asked other people, what they think looks best on my wrist, and they've actually said the 45 millimeter, this one, the largest one, because one person said it's more of a statement piece. And I maybe didn't wear this orange strap when I showed them this, because I would have thought that this would have been the real statement piece with the teal green dial and bezel. And I mean, that looks so good. I mean, that is striking, and it's definitely such a lovely pleasant looking watch and colorway, in my opinion. Anyway, but they said that they thought the 45 millimeter looked best. Now that might be because I'm actually 6'2", and I actually used to play rugby, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but they thought that this big 45mm watch looked better on me. It might have been my height, I don't know, but I was surprised. I thought that they might say that the 38mm looked the best because it is a bit tidier. That was my assumption. That was what I thought. But in this small group of testers that I used, they thought this 45mm, was definitely, the better looking wristwatch on me, and noted. They said it has more presence. It definitely does have presence. I once again really like it. But I really have been considering, thinking about in detail, what is the case size to have. If you were making a watch, what really are you going for? Because the case size is important. I think I said at the beginning of the video that it's a decision based on aesthetic and function, and these days probably the aesthetic is more the appeal for people. Saying that, because of the bezel, the timing bezel here, I do use these often for timing eggs and cooking, that sort of thing. And for running, I am a user. These are tool watches, obviously. I am the user of these timing bezels, and the orange minute hands, is really super for timing something. So once again, you whiz the bezel round, and you line up the marker with the orange minute hand, and then you're off. And if this was running, you would see the elapsed time here. And it's a really, really helpful function. And it's one of the nice things about having a mechanical watch, because you have this mechanical interaction, with the watch. These are all automatics, so wearing them charges up the spring, so you don't have to wind up. But that's if you wear it, every other day. Or you take it off at the weekend, because the power reserve on these, I think, is about 40 hours. So you're definitely going to last a good day and a half. Before the end of the second day, it's a good idea to put it back on and wear it for a day or two to charge it back up again. But that's how these work. Anyway, I wanted to show you the size difference, and I think in another video I've shown the size difference, but once again I thought I would plonk it on camera here so you can see the size difference there. And also what I may do is I may take off these straps and show you the watch heads without the straps. And in fact, I think I'm going to do that right now. Hold on. I've just been taking off the straps, and I thought to myself, I know, why don't I take the strap off on camera? And this is probably a fraught with danger exercise, but here we go. So this is the first time I've done this, and there we go. I put my finger there to stop the spring bar flying off, and that seems to have been okay. So there's the strap. And we have there's the spring bar here, and it's I've noticed that sometimes I have to do this and then go back, and then the autofocus will happen. But these are called a shoulderless spring bar, so there's no shoulder that you would use this part for. No, the other end. And there you go. That there would interface with a shoulder on a spring bar, and you would be able to release the spring bar that way. But because this watch, well, these watches are, they're called hold cases. They've got drilled through lugs. I can use the end of this to release the spring bar that way. So in theory, I suppose these spring bars are better because you've got more straight metal between the lugs, so they go in there quite nicely. Yeah, so that's the. So I might as well show you the 38mm, and look at the profile of that. I mean, these are great watches. And you know, I also look at the manufacturing and machining quality here, and you know, I don't actually know where these are made. I'm assuming they are made in China, probably in Shenzhen. I don't know, but the machining quality here is absolutely wonderful. And if I spin the bezel, I don't know if you can hear the bezel, but it sounds, I mean, this is a fabulous sounding bezel. It really is. And I might as well whiz it up. I love the way that the two triangles, you know, you line them up, and that's how that bit works. And of course it lines up perfectly. I mean, some watch brands don't have them lining up, and I've never understood why your quality control would put you in a position where you go to the point where you don't do that. But yeah, so this is the 38mm, and what I may do is I may put that there, and let me do the same with the 42mm. Now I don't really know why I'm doing this on camera, because it seems a boring thing to do, but let's give it a whirl. And also it's really tricky on camera, but let me do that. Okay, yeah, so that I can hear that is released. I'm just put my finger over to stop it flying off, and this comes off the very similar way to the other strap. I'll put that there, and then I'll spring round here. I'm amazing that I'm doing this on camera, actually. I don't normally. I probably wouldn't have tried this. It just sort of happened by accident, but I shall put that there. So this is the strap, and that's nicely off there, so I can put that there. And this is the 42mm, and you can see that so the model design of these watches is the A1. And I'm a really big fan of this wristwatch for many reasons. I think the design is wonderful. The manufacturing quality, it seems amazing. But it's the design, it's the general aesthetic, and I've probably got fingerprints all over the place there, but never mind. But I really love the design. And I'm trying to identify, you know, where the design comes from, and all I can really say is probably an amalgamation of the diving watch designs over the last 50 years, I suppose, because you can see a bit of other brands, you know, in the design aesthetic. You know, it really is quite pleasant. Anyway, why don't I try and pull the big? Oh, that's the. This is the blue one, and I didn't mean to show you that, but I'm going to put this over here, and let me get the black one again, and let me take the spring bar off on camera here, and I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did before, and I'm trying to remember exactly how I did that. Yeah, this one, it seems a bit tougher. I don't really know why. It might be the position of the camera's in the way. Ah, there we go. The camera's in the way. I'm putting my thumb there to stop the spring bar flying out, and that seems to have released it. But I can see that I might need to press it out this side as well. Let me see if that works. You can see me struggling here. There we go. That has actually popped out fine, and I've stopped the spring bar flying off. So that's one end I've got there. So let me put that one there, and let me try this end as well. So yep, that's coming out there. So that's fine. Yep, and I'm going to do the exact same thing what I must be doing is popping the spring bar out and of this side, and let me try that. There we go. Because the fit is a little more snug, you have to go to both sides there. This is the now these spring bars are a little bit longer, because I'll come back to that in a second actually. So these spring bars are for a 24mm lug width. This is 22, and these here, I can barely get hold of them. That's for a 20mm lug width. So we've got here spring bars for the 20mm, 22 and 24. And whoops the daisy. There we go. I've just pulled everything. Look at that on camera. A disaster. Let me put that. Let me put that there. It doesn't matter. I'll come back. So yeah, this is a 24mm lug width, and you can see the design of these is identical. It's just the overall case size that is different here. So this is a 20. So this is the 45mm. This is the 42mm, and you can see that the case profile, is identical in design actually. And these are the case backs. And yeah, the only difference here is on the 45mm we have the helium escape valve there, and so that's a visual interest detail, plus it has a function, but I can't see anyone going down to the depths where the helium escape valve would be actuated. I can't see that happening, but it's nice to have it there because it's it's detail and interesting, and I do like the dome sapphire there. But you can see that this is a super watch. Look at that. Sapphire bezel, sapphire glass, stainless steel case, screw-in crown, 24mm lug width there, 22mm lug width here, and 20mm lug width there. Now, yeah, I suppose that is a video all by itself, because I'm one of those people that gets very frustrated with all these different lug widths. My opinion is probably that these two could both share the 22mm lug width, and this one over here, that's 20mm. That's definitely as large as it wants to be. That definitely doesn't need to be larger than 20mm. But if that was dropped to 19, that would be okay. But I suppose 20 is more generic, so you keep that at 20. But these two could definitely, this could definitely be 22mm, not 24. Although the larger case size probably does determine, from a design point of view, that the lug widths do need to increase. But there you go. Let me just zoom in to see if I can make this look a little better. There we go. And yeah, so once again we have the 38mm, we have the 42mm, and we have the 45mm. And on the wrist, people thought that this 45mm suited me the best, because it was larger and was more of a statement piece. Although I really thought that the 42mm was a better size, and it's a very popular size these days. And the 38mm I also thought was very nice, because that was very tidy. But in contrast, they definitely thought that the 45mm was the best. So there you go. Anyway, this is this is just a video about these case sizes, and I hope it's at least interesting. Sorry about the struggling on camera with the unruly spring bars that escaped me. There you go. On camera, these little problems, they can happen, and they do happen, and so there you go. And I suppose what I might do is show you. I've got this little toolbox here that is I think it's very, very cool. And what I may do is pop it into the video at the end. Hopefully I can do that. You can see here that I also have the blue and the brown. I've been using this toolbox by Raaco. Raaco is it called, and it is absolutely brilliant. And I was thinking to myself, I need another toolbox. I need another one of these because I can see uses for it. Anyway, actually, let me show you how I'm doing this, because you might be able to see how I've been surviving. It's really not easy. This is my backup props, and this toolbox I've been using. Anyway, I'll end this video here, and I hope this has been interesting and informative, and hopefully speak again soon. Just a bit of fun, really. I've just been making videos, and I thought if you could see my desk, you would think, oh my goodness, this guy he's a real geek. He's got all these bits and pieces. But this is one of my working desks, and I thought, you know, if someone was to pop by and see this, they would think, you know, what on earth is going on? And I thought it had some visual interest, and I thought, why don't I do it and just show you? Anyway, there you go. That's a moment in a working day of me at the moment. Anyway, hope everyone is well.